Well, hey crafty friends, it's Hiedi Scott with DiyDreaming, and on this video tutorial, I'm so excited. We are going to make some boring Dollar Tree books, both hardcover and softcover. We're gonna make them beautiful. And this is super easy. My goal really here is to just get your wheels turning about all the gazillion different things that you could do. And I'm going to give you some step-by-step directions and then show you a bunch of different things. So it should be really good. As you're hopping on, tell me hello so I know I'm not just standing in my craft room talking to myself. Feel free to sprinkle if you would like. Feel free to ask questions, all that normal stuff. And I do see a bunch of people hopping on, so yay. Okay, so what we're going to be using today are just some Dollar Tree books. This is interesting. It's a Dollar Tree book and it has a letter from somebody inside of it. I don't know. Okay, either soft or hard. And this was a Dollar Tree book that was black. Okay, so let's start with the hardcover and then we'll do some soft cover. And we're going to use a bunch of different laces. We're going to be using some Mod Podge. We're going to be using some paint. I got out my tray of vintage buttons. I have my hot glue gun heating. I have some scissors. I'm all ready to go. Okay, so with the hardcover books, I didn't want to have you watch me paint them. One coat, let it dry. Then paint another coat and let it dry, and then go outside and spray it. But that's basically what I did. I just used Waverly. It says chalk, but it's acrylic paint in plaster color. This comes from Walmart and it's awesome. I love this color. So I painted this book 2 coats, and what I did basically was I just laid it out like this on my blue, on that mat that is so easy to clean up, this silicone mat. Okay, I laid it like this. I split it in half. Let me see if I can get this to go down a little bit further and not be tipping over. Because you don't care if my head is cut off, but you want to see my hands. Okay, so I just basically folded it in half and laid it down like this, and I used a Credi brush and some of this chalk paint, and I painted 1 coat of it. Then, when that was dry, I flipped it over, and you really don't want the inside binding of your book to show, because this one was black, and the other book that I have over here was red. So I just took a small brush and some of the same paint, and I basically just, in a messy form, painted around it just to cover it, and I only did 1 coat on that. And then I flipped it, when it was dry, I flipped it back around and I did another coat of Waverly paint, and in a few places it looks like my Credi paintbrush had some brushes that got stuck in my paint, but that does not matter because we're going to cover it up. Okay. And then, just to make sure it was good and solid, when it was dry, I took it outside on my Wilton cake board that I used to spray. This is a clear matte sealer spray, and I gave it a light coat. Okay. And so this one's ready to go, and we will work on this one in just a minute, but we're going to start with the other one first. All right, so this is the red one, and you might still be able to see some little teeny peaks of red coming out. Looks like I didn't do a very good job on this side, but good enough. And what I just did about, 45 minutes ago is I used a stencil. And I'll show you some options, and it's beautiful. Oh my gosh, I absolutely love it. So I sprayed it first, and then I used this stencil right here, which is called Flower Power. It was a brand new stencil this spring, and like within 10 days, it sold out. So it just came back in stock. If you like this, I would grab it soon because it's back. So you could use something like that, and I'll show you in just a minute, or you could use a mandala lace. What else do I have in here? Or you could use a Victorian pattern, or you could use a polka dot, or some of the stripes, or the other flower designs, an all over pattern, okay? And I personally chose this color. It's called Cool Gray. Yeah. So I applied my little stencil. We're gonna actually do it, but I wanna give you a little peek of how it turned out. You guys, look. Look at how amazing that is. Isn't it gorgeous? I mean, we're just gonna do something on the spine and we're gonna say good, but we're gonna do both sides because I'm thinking that maybe you want to display it standing up. And I have another idea to share with you what you could do with it after this point. Okay, so mine is still pretty new, so I'm just gonna fuzz it on my little green tacky towel, which is also from magnoliadiy.com. And we're gonna lay it on here, really with an all over pattern like this. It does not even matter where you start, just so long as you're not, falling off the edge. Okay, and then I'm just gonna pat it down. All right, let me push my camera back just a teeny bit. What do you guys think so far? Okay, so I told you how to get the books ready. And then this is just one option of many, seriously, of many, of what you could do. So I'm gonna get a little one of these guys and a small cut apart squeegee. This is just a little stir stick. And I'm just going to stir my chalk paste up and put some globs on here. I don't know, that may be too much, but I can always put it back in my pot. And I'm just gonna apply it all over my desk. But that's okay. This chalk paste comes up with a wet paper towel or an antibacterial wipe or something like that. It comes up pretty easy. Okay, so I have the whole thing covered, and now I'm just gonna pull the big globs off, and I'm gonna put them back in my little pot. And look to see, did I miss anywhere? I don't think so. I think that's pretty good. So this is what it looks like. Let me grab this spot so I don't get it on my shirt. So you guys, you can use books. Let's talk about that while I'm cleaning this one little spot. You can use any kind of book you want, hard or soft cover. We're not gonna affect the integrity of the inside of the book, so it's not ruining the book. It's just creating a decorative piece with it. It could be a book. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. It could be a book from Goodwill. It could be a book from Dollar Tree. It could be a book from a garage sale. I mean, it could be a book that you already have. It really does not matter at all what the content of the book is, because that's not what we're going to be looking at. So let me show you what we've got. The other side. Okay, I did go outside of my lines just a little bit, so I'm just going to pull that off of the spine, although we'll probably cover that up. So I'm just using an antibacterial wipe, and let's set this aside over here so it can be drying while we work on the next one. Okay, And the next one is gonna be a lacy book. So, same deal, book I painted, all the same as what I explained at the beginning of the video. And this one's gonna be lacy. So I wanna show you some different options. Okay, one option would be to cover the whole entire thing, front and back, with some lace. And I think that would be pretty. Let me cut it and get a piece of tape and I'll show you what that would look like. Go this way. My plan, if we decide to do that one, is to use Mod Podge and then just to lay it into the Mod Podge. So this is just inexpensive lace, nothing fancy. And I'm just going to tape it in the book so I can see what I think. I must not watch comments. Yes, I do, but I tell you what, Charity, it is super hard to keep your project on track, to stencil, keep your surface clean, clean up as you're going along. Think about how you wanted to organize the video and do all of that and read every single comment at the same time. But here's the thing, I always sit down afterwards and read all my comments. And I do see them from here and there, and several people have said, oh, I got chalk paste on my shirt. Where? I don't see it. Anyways, so I do look at all the comments. It's just some of them I have to read after. And if you have a question, don't hesitate to ask me in the comments. Okay, so here's how we could start this. And we could put it on both sides or just one. Then another idea that you could do would be to take some lace, like a lace doily, whatever shape and color you might have. These are all ivory because I am doing an ivory colored paint. Any size you want. And to use some Mod Podge and apply that on your book with other doodads, okay? And with the spine, we're gonna cover the spine in just a minute. But I think what we're gonna do for now is we're gonna work on this. And I'm gonna leave it attached with tape for right now, just so I don't have to fuss with it. Okay, what can you put on your spine? There are so many things you can put on the spine. You could do more lace. You could do some of this caramel colored ticking fabric that comes from Walmart that I love so much. I use this, I think this is all I have left of 2 yards. So you could use some of that. You could just use some canvas. And there are different weights and they have, some of them have different tones. So you could use some of that. Or, of course, we could do some burlap ribbon. Or we could do some burlap that has lace on it. That came from Walmart. Or we could just do some lace. Oh my gosh. We could do some of this wider lace. Let's see, what else do I have here? I think that's too white. Or this is some silk ribbon that I have. I think we'll use that and we're gonna put buttons on it. So we'll come back to all this other stuff. So there's just no end to what you can put on the spine of your book, or really on the front. Okay, I'm gonna, by the way, if you're noticing how I have my ribbons so nicely organized right now, this is just the lace stuff and a few pieces that I got out from my burlap one. I did a video about 2 or 3 weeks ago where I showed you these ribbon cards, and they have made all the difference. I feel so organized. You have paint on the bottom of my shirt. Well, this is a super old top, but I'll wash it when I'm done. Thank you for letting me know. This matches beautifully. So where did I put my scissors? And I think we'll apply this with a little bit of hot glue, which I have heating up right here. And we could add some more doodads to it. So I'm going to put a couple little dots of hot glue. That might not be wide enough. Yeah, I think it'll work. I'm going to put a couple of dots of hot glue just to hold this down for the moment. And I'm using a low temperature hot glue gun, in case you're wondering. I have had way too many really bad hot glue burns, and so I don't want any more of those. Okay, and then I'm gonna just put a little bit of hot glue at the top and the bottom of my book, and I'm gonna lay this piece of silk ribbon on here. Perfect. And then I'm gonna put a little bit of hot glue right here in the crease of the book. Okay, let's do the back, just so it'll stay in place. Okay, so it's cute right now, but it's not, you know, super special yet. But it will be. Try to trim this off as carefully as I can. So if you're watching this live, today is the first day that I am an official empty nester, and I'm not sure how I feel about that. I'm definitely missing my son. My youngest just got his first apartment, and I am a little lost without having a child at home. Oh, Brenda says I have a very creative mind. Oh, thank you. You know what? I just am always looking, no matter where I am, and I see stuff. I see ideas all over. And then I just try to make them my own. You know, there's nothing new under the sun. Have you ever heard that saying? There really isn't. And there's really nothing completely new in the crafting world either. So I just take like 4 different ideas and put them all together and make it my own. Okay, so that is pretty, but it needs something else. And we're gonna do some buttons on it too. I'm not sure what it needs. This could be pretty. Let's use some of this. This is vintage lace that I picked up at one of those antique market things. And it feels so good to have it organized. Oh my goodness. Cut this off straight. Since I put everything on spools or on the little thread card thingies, I know what I have now. And it's all kind of organized and it feels so good. So I just wrap my ribbon of any kind or lace around these little cards that you can buy and use a pin to attach it. There's a little piece of red string on it or something. Okay, so we're just going to attach this right along the border. Glue stick. And this is going to cover up the seam where I laid down that silk ribbon. So who is a new empty nester like me? Are there any new ones out there? How has the experience been for you? I keep thinking, oh, I need to tell Christian this or that. And he's, you know, a million miles away on the other side of the country. And, ooh, it's hard. Okay, this looks so pretty already. Cut this off. So you can keep layering more and more and more on it, and you can start out in whatever color tone you want, but the next thing I want to do is add some vintage buttons to the spine, and then we could make a flower, we could make a rolled rosette, we could make anything to go down in one of the corners. It would be beautiful. Okay, let's just grab a bunch of these little ones. I'm just going to randomly apply them. All different sizes, different, turned winky wonky, or some with 2 holes, some have 4 holes. This is so cute. I think I'm going to put this out in my family room. Most of my decor is this very basic cream or ivory. And so this would look great in my house. I have a whole bunch of buttons that are kind of the same. I want it to be something different. Okay, if you ignore the glue strings, you can see what a beautiful book this is becoming already. It's just going to be all kinds of different textures of cream. Cream in sort of a taupey color. Okay, and we could do, let's make a lace rolled rosette, and let's make it on a little piece of this. And I'm going to use the same lace that I covered it with. So you always start a rosette with a knot. Cut this little tail off. You need help getting into your account to change your card number. Cheryl, you can call the office, call Magnolia Design Company, and they can do that for you. I don't have access to that. Their number is 970-404-5383, and they're open regular business hours. They're on East Coast time, and they are open until 5 p.m. So if you gave them a call sometime soon, they could unlock that, change your card, help you with whatever you need. Okay, and then I glued the center of the rosette down, and now I'm just twirling my big piece of this wide lace. You can make rolled rosettes out of absolutely anything you want. Maybe we'll put a button in the center of it too. And then we'll cut it off of this piece of canvas and attach it to the front of this other book. And then we'll hop into the other project, because I want to have plenty of time to show you the soft cover books. Let's go just a little bit further. I want the scale to be right. Okay, so this is the start of our rolled lace rosette, and I'm just going to cut off this piece, and I'm going to cut off this excess ribbon, and I'm not going to throw this away, of course. I'll just put it back on my roll and pin it. I don't remember where I got this. It might have been something that somebody sent me. Okay, so now what you're gonna do is you're gonna just cut around the edge of your rosette, because you don't want this canvas to show. And I'm gonna fold this tail over the back and glue it on the back. So this is like a combination of everything I love. Vintage lace, vintage buttons, books, rolled rosettes, all in creamy ivory. It's perfect. So then you just do your best to tuck this messy tail around the back and push it into your glue. Oops. Thank goodness that was not super hot. Okay, so this is what I have. And let's think. I'm afraid if I add too much to it, it'll get to be too busy. So we're gonna put this little rolled rosette down here, and I may come back and make a few more, and I may also add some buttons to them. Oh dang, I was having a hard time holding on to anything today. Okay, so here's the front of our book, and here's the spine. And then here's the back, which we could cover that with lace too. And we don't even have to do this fancy thing. I think I would definitely add some leaves to this, and I will fiddle around with it off camera, and then I'll get a bunch of close-up pictures, and I'll put those here in the comments as well as over on DIY Dreaming. just on the page. Okay, so this is the book that we stenciled with gray chalk paste. And we could do anything we wanted on the spine, but it would essentially be the same thing as what we just did. So I will finish this off camera and get you pictures of this too. Okay, let's talk about the paperback books for a second. Do you guys remember in elementary school when you made those book covers for your school books out of grocery bags or old t-shirts? You could make like a slip cover for the outside of your soft cover book, and you could use canvas, ticking, burlap, whatever you would want. But basically what you're going to do when you're working with one of these books is you're going to just be tearing. And I don't know, is this book something special? I don't think so. Okay, so you're just going to basically tear, and especially the Dollar Tree ones are pretty soft and easy to get off, or old books are soft and easy to get off. Okay, so this is what the spine looks like now. And you could paint it, which is what I did with these, because these two books here had, these were Dollar Tree books, and they had a lot of rubber on the spine. So I just took this same paint and did one coat of paint on the front. If you look at the front of your book, a lot of times there'll be something cool. A lot of times there's like one of those dedication pages or something. And this one says, "On Sacred Ground." Isn't that pretty? And this one says, oh my gosh, "For now we see through a glass darkly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then I shall know even as I am known." 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 12. So we're just going to be decorating the spines of these. And what a lot of people like to do is do the spines and stack them up and then tie them with a bunch of jute. But we're going to do these books individually so I can show you a bunch of different things that you can do with the spine. Okay, one thing that I mentioned before was this ticking fabric. So I just cut a little snip, and then I pulled the strings and I pulled this piece. And I thought it would be pretty on this one. So let's start with that. And it's way, way, way too long. So this could go on our spine, and we could add some twine or something along the edge. So let's do that. I'm going to just put a little bit of glue, and the reason why I wanted this painted was because there were some black marks on it, and I didn't know if that would show through the fabric. It's really no trouble to just paint that spine. Lots of you guys are on. I am out of practice. I haven't been live in a week, which is about the longest time ever for me, but I was just completely focused on my son for the whole week and getting him settled, and it was nice. We had some great time. This is too long. So I just glued it on the spine, and now I'm just gonna put some glue right on the edge of this. You could use Mod Podge or even wet glue if you wanted, like a Eileen's tacky glue or something like that. I'm just using the hot glue, the low temperature hot glue right now, because then I can get it done quicker while you're watching. Okay, and then we could add some lace, or I'm thinking some twine would be good. So let me just grab my twine. I even put some of my loose pieces of twine on these little cards, these little ribbon card things. Good. Let me pull this down so that I can go around multiple times. I've got it going the wrong direction. Who saw the post? Where did I get these ribbon cards? I ordered them, I think from an Etsy person, but you can get them on Amazon too. And I posted all the details about, I don't know, a week or two ago. I'll dig that back out and repost it so you guys have it handy. I really think it makes a huge difference. I used to have so much ribbon that I didn't even know what I had, and I could not ever find anything. And I was always buying duplicates because I didn't know what I had. So it's just nice to be organized and not have so much space being taken up by those big empty spools. I've got a lot of glue. I could have used something like this too. This is just some twine that has like silver threads woven into it. Now this is going to look pretty when it's with some other books. So don't think that this is all there is. Another thing you could do is this idea with the lace. And this book could be on the cover, on the top of the stack. Let's see, what do I like better? I think I like this one. Okay, let's do a little bit of burlap. Usually I have my crafts all completely planned out. I know exactly how I'm going to be decorating everything. But for this, oh my gosh, it's a little overwhelming because there are so many different things that you can do. And I bet you if you look in your crafting stash right now, you have a ton of stuff that you could do right now as well. I'm just thinking, where do I want this? I'll put it right here. What did people do before they had hot glue guns? I really don't know. The book is, I don't know what Gaynell is saying. Okay, so I started with this, and we could build a little bit of a lace doily, like right in the center. Ooh, that'd be pretty. But if we're gonna do that, maybe I would rather just have, oh, it's so hard to decide because there's so many options. I think we'll put this on here, and then we'll tie it with something pretty, with a pretty ribbon. And this will be the top cover, the top book in the stack. So I'm just gonna very lightly tack this down. And when I'm crafting for me, I usually don't worry about the back of things. But whenever I'm crafting for somebody else, you know, I'm going to give something away, then I do worry about how the backs of things look. So. Do I keep freezing for anyone else? I'm so sorry you're having that issue. I think my internet is just fine. So maybe it's yours. I don't know. And you could, I mean, you could continue. Ooh, this would be pretty. You could keep layering more things on top of it. But what I think I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to do some buttons. This is going to be on the very top of our stack. And it doesn't even necessarily have to be the white mother of pearl. It could be this beautiful kind of purpley mother of pearl. Beautiful one. It feels awfully quiet. Do you fancy flower? Do your fancy flower made out of burlap? Oh, that's a good idea. Let's do that. Then I can always come back and add some buttons. Okay, so we'll do a flower made out of this same stuff. I'm going to cut the edges of the wire off because, well, let's try it with the edges of the wire on it, and let's do it on a piece of this. Or it could even be a rosette made out of some of this ticking. There's just so many things that you could do. I think the wire is going to make it too thick, so I'm just going to cut this off and mess up the edges a little bit. Oh, and you know, the other thing you could do is I have all this burlap, these strings from the 5.5-inch wide burlap. I never throw anything away. So I have some that are this tan color. We could do something kind of cool with those. I'm gonna have a big old mess to clean up when I'm done here. That would be super pretty. Go all the way around. So this is another option. You could add some of these burlap strings if you're like me and you save them when you make the burlap. Oh, and we could do a pulled string burlap flower. There's so many different things that we could be doing. So you could do something like this, but I think it gets too messy. And this is going to be the top book. So let's just do a burlap flower. This burlap ribbon we'll use. And it takes no time at all. I'm just trying to mess up the edges just a little bit so it doesn't look so completely crisp. Cut this little tail off. Where's my piece of burlap that we were going to put it on? Right here. Put it on a paper plate so I don't glue it to my desk. Okay, so you always start with a knot when you're going to do a rolled rosette. And then you just start twirling and twisting and pushing that in close to the center of your rosette. And you just keep going around and around and around, however long and big you want your flower to be. Are you guys getting tired? This is taking a long time and I'm very sorry about that. It's gonna be worth it. And here's the thing, if you decide to make some of these books, either hard or soft cover, I definitely wanna see what you come up with. And I encourage you to use what you have on hand. If you have like some lace, use it. Whatever kind of ribbon, whatever kind of paint you might have on hand, use that. Sure enough, it is glued to my paper plate. Okay, let's trim this off and then we are going to make some leaves. I know what I'm going to be doing tonight. I'm going to be crafting to finish this project up. And let me just make 2 quick leaves. Those are super easy. Put a teeny little dab of glue in the center and basically fold it. Then when you lay your leaf down, it will have some shape. Do I always twist in the same direction? Well, you know what? That's a great question. That is really just what you feel comfortable doing, but I do always stay going in the same direction. But for me, for some reason, I tend to always roll and twist around to the right. It's just, I don't know why, but that's just what I find myself doing. There's no right or wrong for it, though. You can do it however you want. I think this leaf right here is too big, so let's just make it a little bit smaller. So we could, oops, I took those strings off. We could put this right in the center of this book, or it could go in a corner. And I will fiddle around with that off camera. I may add some buttons and I may do some more embellishing, but that is really what I wanted to show you, how you can take any color hardcover book and paint it. I just used this inexpensive acrylic paint from Walmart. It's Waverly brand, and this color is called Plaster. All right, and then for this book, which is not finished, but I will finish it, I used the Flower Power stencil on the front and back of it, and I will do something with some gray on the spine or right here. So I used gray chalk paste and then that stencil. If you want a link for this or any of the other stencils, just say link in the comments. This really is a fabulous one. I'm so glad it's back in stock, because I had so many people that were bummed out when we got it and then it sold out almost immediately. This little rosette right here, it needs some leaves and maybe some little buttons. But this one is that same plaster color. It's a hardcover book that I painted, and you're gonna wanna paint the inside part of it too. And then I just taped and glued on some lace, some more lace. This is some silk ribbon, and then I added all those vintage buttons. And I think that would be beautiful. You know, these two definitely, this is totally my style. Get rid of this for a second. These two would look pretty together. And the other one that I'm going to continue fiddling with that has this on the spine, this totally goes with the other colors of this book. And see how pretty those would look in a stack. I think I'm going to take this twine off. But anyways, that is what I wanted to show you. I hope that I haven't left any major things unsaid. Look around for books. They could be books that you have on your bookshelf, like we have a ton of them. You're not going to mess with the inside of the book, so you could still read it. They can be books from Dollar Tree. Dollar Tree has both hard and soft cover books. They could be books from any craft store or a garage sale, or you know, your sister's bookshelf. And then just get out whatever kind of fluff and stuff you have in the color waves that you're going to want to be using. Like I just pulled all this stuff out before I came live, and I wasn't even sure, and the buttons, I wasn't even sure exactly what I would be doing. But your project will tell you as you're going along what you should do. So, one last thing, and I know I've said this before, but if you start a craft project with the idea that you're just gonna let it go where it goes, and you don't have a real specific vision for the finished product, then you will enjoy it so much more. Old phone books. Oh my gosh, Judith, that's a brilliant idea. Sorry. Judith just suggested that you could do this with old phone books. Oh, I love that idea. Anyway, so if you just are, you know, not so specific with your idea of where you want to go, and you just kind of let your projects flow as you're going along, then it is a zillion times more enjoyable than having some specific idea that you want to create, and then it's not exactly what you wanted. Oh, this reminds one of my viewers here, Susan, of her mom's old books that she tied with lace. Aww. Yeah, now if it's like a family heirloom kind of a book, obviously, don't paint it or cut it or tear the cover off. Or glue anything on it. You could always use it in a stack though and just tie some pretty lace around it like Susan just suggested. You know, something vintage, that would be beautiful. Let's see, what else are you guys saying? Sarah Baker says she loved the craft and she's gonna try making some of the books. They're so pretty. I'm so glad. I wanna see what you guys do. So if you make any kind of these book projects, I would love to see them over on that craft page, that group that I set up for all of us to share our pictures. If you haven't joined it yet, it's Dreamy DIY. So you just go to your Facebook search bar and type in Dreamy, DREAMY space DIY, and it should pull up the group, then answer the questions that you're going to be nice. Of course you are. That you're not going to try to sell anything there, and that you're not going to share other crafters' videos there. And if you agree to those, we'll say, come on in, and then we want to see what you're doing. And I probably will take some of those images and share from that group and share them over here too. Just to, you know, spread the ideas and inspiration as wide as I can. Sandra just said she shared this. Yeah, if you want to sprinkle, that would be awesome. Alrighty, guys. Have a great rest of your day. Look for pictures from me tonight or first thing tomorrow morning. And if you haven't already liked and followed this page and you want to see what I'll be doing tomorrow, then do it. It's up here if you're on Facebook. If you're on YouTube, you can click the subscribe button. You can also comment. Oh, Kimberly says, everyone have a blessed Easter. Yes, I hope it's a blessed Easter for everyone. Alrighty, guys, I will see you later. Bye.